Captain Lee Woojin stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the planet below. Smoke rose from cities that burned like dying stars. This was the 4th time in 20 years that he had come to this world. Each time, the same story played out. The Velthari attacked. The peaceful Kethmiran people suffered, and humans came to save them. "Sir, we're getting distress calls from 12 cities," said his officer. "The bug people are using their slave bombs again." Lee closed his eyes. The Velthari looked like giant insects with sharp claws and hard shells. They had no mercy. When they wanted slaves, they dropped bombs that did not kill but made people weak and sick. Then they took them away to work in mines until they died. "Send down the medical teams," Lee said, "and tell the Marines to be ready." Admiral Kim Daejin watched the reports from his command ship. Around him, screens showed 17 different worlds where wars were happening. All needed human help. All expected humans to fix their problems for free. "How many ships do we have?" he asked Dr. Park Minji. "Not enough," she said. Her voice was tired. "We have been doing this for 150 years. Every time we save someone, they ask us to save them again next year." Kim looked at the numbers on his screen. The human fleet had over 10,000 ships. They carried doctors, engineers, soldiers, and teachers, all working to help aliens who could not help themselves. "Look at this," Minji showed him a report. "We saved the Kethmiran people 5 times. Each time we rebuilt their cities. We gave them weapons to defend themselves. We taught them how to fight. But when the Velthari came back, they just gave up and called for us again." On the planet below, Lee's Marines moved through burning streets. They found Kethmiran families hiding in holes in the ground. The aliens had blue skin and looked like tall, thin humans with large eyes. They were crying. "Please help us," they said. "The bug people took our children. Lee's soldiers gave them food and medicine. They always did. It was what humans did. They helped others, even when it cost them everything. But something felt different this time. Lee noticed that the Kethmiran had new buildings, nice ones. They had fancy clothes and jewelry. Where did they get money for these things when they were always asking humans for help? "Captain," one of his Marines called. "You need to see this." In a hidden room, they found boxes of weapons. Good weapons, expensive ones, but not human weapons. These came from the Velthari. "Sir, I think they've been trading with the bugs," the Marine said. Lee felt sick. "Trading what?" "Information about our patrol routes, our weak spots, when we come and when we leave." Back on the command ship, Admiral Kim got more bad news. 3. Human colonies had been attacked while their defense fleets were away helping aliens. The attacks were perfectly timed. Someone had told the attackers exactly when the human ships would be gone. "It's not just one world," Dr. Minji said. "This is happening everywhere. The aliens we help are selling information about us to our enemies." Kim stared at the reports. Humans had lost millions of soldiers over the years. They had spent so much money helping others that their own worlds were poor. Human children went to bed hungry while aliens got fat on human aid. "Why do we keep doing this?" he asked. "Because we're the good guys," Minji said. But she did not sound happy about it. On the planet, Captain Lee's team found a Velthari prison camp. Inside were not just Kethmiran slaves, but humans too. 23. Human aid workers who had come to help build schools. They had been there for months. No one had told Earth they were missing. The humans were thin and hurt. Some were dying. Their Kethmiran friends had sold them to the Velthari for metal and food. "We trusted them," whispered Dr. Han Jiwon, one of the prisoners. "We came to help. Their children learned to read. They gave us to the bugs for a few coins." Lee felt something break inside his chest. These people had come here to help. They brought books and toys for alien children, and they got slavery in return. His radio crackled. "Captain, we need to leave. 3 Velthari war fleets are coming. Big ones." Lee looked at the human prisoners. 23 good people who just wanted to help others. Now they would die because aliens could not be trusted. "Sir, the transport ship is ready," his officer said. "We can save maybe half of them." "Half?" Lee asked. The others are too sick to move. The bugs did things to them. Bad things. Lee made the choice that would haunt him forever. He saved 11 humans and left 12 to die. As his ship lifted off, he could hear the Velthari ships arriving. He could hear the screams from below. 3 days later, the attack came without warning. A human supply convoy was bringing food and medicine to a refugee camp. 3,000 human workers were unloading ships when the attack hit. The aliens they had come to help attacked them. Not the Velthari, not some enemy. The very people they were feeding attacked them with bombs and guns. The survivors sent a message back to Earth. It was simple and clear. We're tired of being the galaxy's unpaid police force. Admiral Kim read the message in his office. Around him, reports piled up. More attacks on humans, more betrayals. More aliens asking for help while stabbing them in the back. Dr. Minji walked in. Her face was pale. I have the final count from the convoy attack. How many? Kim asked. 3,000 dead. All of them were volunteers, teachers, doctors, engineers. They went there to build hospitals and schools. Kim looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere out there, aliens were planning more attacks on humans. Somewhere out there, aliens were getting rich by selling human blood. What do we do? Minji asked. Kim was quiet for a long time. Then he picked up his communication device and sent a message to Earth. To the president. To the leaders who still thought humans should be nice to everyone. We have a problem, he wrote. The aliens don't want our help, they want us dead. And I'm starting to think we should give them what they really want. The message would change everything. But Kim did not know that yet. He only knew that good humans had died today. Again. And the aliens responsible would probably ask for help tomorrow. Just like they always did. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was as big as a city. Representatives from 200 alien species sat in floating chairs that moved around like angry bees. They were all talking at once, and the noise was terrible. Ambassador Song Yunji sat in the human section and listened to them argue. She had been doing this job for 15 years, and every day was the same. Aliens fighting, aliens complaining, aliens demanding that humans fix their problems. The Zephyrian Empire has attacked 6 of our worlds, said the Nexari representative. He looked like a walking tree with too many arms. We demand immediate human intervention. Lies, shouted the Zephyrian delegate. She was covered in scales and had poison dripping from her teeth. They attacked us first. We demand human protection from their war crimes. Song rubbed her head. The same argument every day. 2 species that hated each other, both demanding that humans pick a side. Both promising to be friends with humanity forever if they got help. How many human ships do you need? Asked the council chairman. He was a floating blob of gas that somehow could talk. All of them, said the Nexari. No, we need all the human ships, said the Zephyrian. Song stood up. The hall got quiet. When humans spoke, everyone listened. They had to. Humans had all the guns. How many of your own ships are you sending to this war? She asked. The aliens looked at each other. That's not how this works, said the Nexari. Humans fight. We provide moral support. And payment, added the Zephyrian. We'll pay you back after we win. Song had heard this promise 1,000 times. No alien had ever paid humans back for anything. They just asked for more help the next year back on Earth. President Yoon Jae-soo read the reports from her desk. The numbers made her sick. In the past year alone, humans had lost 50,000 soldiers. They had spent enough money to feed all of Earth's children for 10 years. And what did they get for it? Nothing. Worse than nothing, they got betrayal. Show me the economic reports, she told her aide. The numbers appeared on her screen. Earth's colonies were struggling. Human worlds had old hospitals and broken schools because all the money went to alien aid. Human children learned in classrooms, with holes in the roof, while alien children studied in palaces built with human money. General Choi Hyun-woo walked into her office. His face was dark with anger. We need to talk, he said. More bad news? Yoon asked. The worst. He put a data pad on her desk. Remember the Velthari? The bugs that Captain Lee has been fighting? The ones who keep enslaving the blue people? Those are the ones. They just attacked New Sol Colony. Yoon felt her blood turn cold. New Sol was a human world, a peaceful place where families grew food and raised children. How many dead? 50,000, including 3 schools full of children. The room was quiet except for the hum of computers. 50,000 humans. Dead. Killed by aliens that humanity had been trying to stop for 20 years. It gets worse, Choi said. We captured some of their war plans. Want to know how they knew exactly where to attack? Yoon did not want to know, but she nodded. The Kethamiran gave them detailed maps of our defenses. The same blue people we've been saving over and over. They sold us out for mining rights on their moon. Yoon closed her eyes. She thought about the human children who had died today. Children who would never grow up because aliens could not be trusted. There's more, Choi said. I have reports from every sector. Every alien species we've helped has been selling information about us to someone. The tree people, the gas clouds, the rock creatures, all of them. He put more data pads on her desk. They've been playing a game, Madam President. They pretend to be helpless. We come to save them. They learn everything about our military. Then they sell that information to our enemies. For how long? Yoon asked. Since the beginning. 150 years of this. We've been fighting shadow wars against our own intelligence. Yoon stood up and walked to her window. Outside, she could see the city where she had been born. Streets full of humans going about their lives. Working, laughing, loving each other. Good people who deserved better than this. What do you recommend, General? We stopped being nice. That evening, Ambassador Song got an emergency call from Earth. President Yoon's face appeared on her screen. Behind her stood General Choi and the entire military command. Ambassador, you're to make an announcement to the Galactic Council, Yoon said. Effective immediately, the Terran Federation is withdrawing from all peacekeeping operations. Song felt her heart stop. Madam President, that will cause chaos. There are wars happening on 50 worlds right now. I know, let them burn. But the treaties are canceled, all of them. We're bringing our people home. Song looked around her office. On the walls were pictures of human soldiers who had died helping aliens, heroes who gave their lives for species that did not deserve their sacrifice. What about the humanitarian missions? She asked. Canceled. No more food aid. No more medical supplies. No more human teachers in alien schools. We're done being the galaxy's charity. The next day, Song stood before the Galactic Council and read the announcement. The hall erupted in panic. Aliens screamed and threatened and begged. Some offered bribes. Others promised to be better friends. You can't do this, shouted the Nexari. What about our war with the Zephyrians? Figure it out yourselves, Song said. But we don't know how to fight without you, said the Zephyrian. Then you'll learn fast, or you'll die. Either way, it's not our problem anymore. The chairman floated forward. His gas form shimmered with worry. Ambassador, surely we can negotiate. What do you want? More mining rights? Better trade deals? Song smiled, but it was not a kind smile. We want you to leave us alone. We want to stop hearing about your wars and your problems and your needs. We want you to grow up and solve your own problems like adults. But the economy, started someone, will collapse without human support. Yes, we know. Maybe you should have thought about that before you tried to kill us. Song gathered her papers and walked toward the door. Behind her, the hall filled with panic. Representatives screamed into their communicators, calling their home worlds with the terrible news. Humanity was leaving. The galaxy's protectors were going home. And for the first time in 150 years, the aliens would have to take care of themselves. Song paused at the door and looked back one last time. Oh, and one more thing. Any alien ship that approaches human space without permission will be destroyed. No warnings, no negotiations, just death. She left them there, screaming and arguing and blaming each other for the loss of their free protection. Outside, her ship waited to take her home. Home to a humanity that was tired of being nice. The age of human kindness was ending, and the aliens had no one to blame but themselves. Colonel Han Sung-min had never seen anything like it. 847 worlds, 200 star systems, the largest military withdrawal in the history of the galaxy, and he was in charge of all of it. His fleet moved from world to world like a giant machine. Every human soldier, every human doctor, every human teacher, they all had to come home. No one could be left behind. Not this time. "Sir, we're getting reports from the Althan system," said his aide. "The locals are blocking the spaceport. They won't let our people leave." Han was not surprised. The Althan people had been living off human charity for 30 years. Now that the free help was ending, they were scared. "What do they want?" he asked. "The usual. They're offering to sign new treaties. Better deals for humanity. More respect." Han laughed, but there was no humor in it. Respect? They had 150 years to show us respect. Send in the Marines. The Althan spaceport was crowded with aliens. They held signs that said, "Humans stay, and we love you." But Han could see the weapons hidden under their clothes, the same weapons humans had given them to defend themselves. "Please don't leave us," said the Althan leader. She looked like a giant bird with golden feathers. "We need you." "No," said Colonel Park Soo-hyun, Han's Marine commander. "You need our money and our protection. You never needed us." "But the Velthari will come back. They'll enslave us again." "Then fight them. Or don't. We don't care anymore." The bird woman's eyes filled with tears. "You're condemning us to death." Park shrugged. "You condemned 3,000 of our aid workers to death last month. Remember? When you told the bugs where our convoy would be?" The Althan leader's feathers turned pale. "That was a mistake. We were scared. You sold us out for protection from the very people we were protecting you from. Now figure out your own protection." While the military withdrawal continued, Dr. Nam Soo-young led a different kind of mission. Her job was to document every crime committed against humanity during their years of helping others. What she found made her sick. On Cathara Prime, she discovered that the blue people had been selling human prisoners to slave markets for decades. Every time humans came to rescue them, some of the rescue team would disappear. The Kethmiran always said they died in battle, but Soo-young found records of the sales. "Look at this," she told her assistant. "They sold Dr. Kim Yo-suk for 50 tons of rare metals. She came here to teach their children medicine." On Nexari worlds, she found worse things. The tree people had been using human volunteers for medical experiments. They told Earth the volunteers had died of diseases. Really, they had been cut open while alive to study human biology. "They wanted to know what made us so tough," Soo-young said into her recorder. "So they tortured our people to death in their laboratories." Every world told the same story. Humans came to help. Aliens smiled and said thank you. Then they betrayed, sold, or murdered their human helpers while asking for more aid. Commander Bae Ji-hoon watched it all from the edge of human space. His job was simple: observe and report. Do not help. Do not interfere. Just watch the galaxy burn without human intervention, and burn it did. Within 6 months of the human withdrawal, 17 wars broke out. The Zephyrian Empire attacked the Nexari Confederacy with weapons they had bought using human aid money. The Nexari fought back with ships they had built while humans protected their factories. "Sir, the Zephyrians are using biological weapons," reported his intelligence officer. "They're wiping out entire Nexari colony worlds." "How many dead?" Bae asked. 2 billion so far. And the Nexari response? "They're bombing Zephyrian breeding worlds, killing their children before they can hatch." Bae made notes in his report, but felt nothing. Let them kill each other. Humans had tried to stop this war for 50 years. Both sides had lied to humanity, stolen from humanity, and attacked humanity. Now they could face each other without human protection. The Velthari Empire collapsed in 3 months. Without human peacekeepers to stop rebellions, Every species they had enslaved rose up at once. The bug people found out what it was like to be helpless when nobody came to save them. Commander Yu Youngji observed the destruction of the Velthari homeworld. The same bugs who had killed 50,000 human civilians were now running for their lives as their former slaves hunted them down. "Sir, the Kethmaran are asking if they can use human weapons to finish off the bugs," her communications officer reported. "What did you tell them?" "Nothing. We're not answering their calls." "Good. Let them figure it out with sticks and stones." Trade routes became war zones. Pirates attacked merchant ships because there were no human patrol fleets to stop them. Entire sectors went dark as civilizations collapsed into chaos. The galactic economy, built on the foundation of human protection, crumbled in months. But the worst part from the alien perspective was the silence. They sent thousands of messages to Earth. Desperate pleas for help. Offers of payment. Promises to be better. Threats of what would happen if humans did not return. All met with silence. "Sir, the Althan delegation is here again," said President Yoon's aide. "They want to negotiate. Tell them what I told the last 50 delegations. We're not home. The Althan were not alone. Every day alien ships arrived at the edge of human space. They begged to be allowed to approach Earth. They offered everything they had in exchange for just one conversation with human leaders. We were wrong, they said. We're sorry. Please come back." But humans had heard those words before. Right before the next betrayal. Right before the next attack. Right before the next demand for free help. General Choi watched the reports from his office on Earth. The galaxy was tearing itself apart, exactly as he had predicted. Good. Let them learn what life was like without human protection. "Any word from our people?" he asked his aide. "All evacuation teams have returned safely, no casualties. And our defense grids? Online and fully operational. Any alien ship that gets within 1 light year of human space will be detected and destroyed." Choi nodded. For the first time in 150 years, humanity was truly safe, not because they were strong enough to help everyone, but because they had stopped trying. His communication device chimed. Another message from the Galactic Council. He deleted it without reading it. Let them talk to empty space. Humanity was done listening to alien problems. Outside his window, he could see children playing in the park. Human children who would grow up in a world where their parents did not die fighting alien wars. Children who would inherit wealth instead of debt because humans had stopped giving everything away to species who hated them. The galaxy was burning. And for the first time in his life, Choi thought that was exactly what it deserved. Dr. Kang Yuna stood before the Council of Earth and smiled. It was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who had found the perfect solution to an old problem. "The Iron Doctrine is complete," she said. "No more peacekeeping. No more humanitarian aid. From now on, humanity deals only in absolutes." President Yoon leaned forward in her chair. "Explain." "Simple. Every alien species gets one choice. Complete submission to human authority or total destruction. No negotiations, no second chances, no mercy." The council members looked at each other. These were good people who had spent their lives trying to help others. The idea of conquest did not come easily to them. "What about the species that haven't attacked us?" asked Minister Park Do-yeon. "They stood by and watched while others did," Yuna said. "Silence makes you guilty too." Fleet Admiral Oh Tae-hyun nodded his agreement. For 2 years, he had been building the new human war machine. Ships, designed not to protect but to conquer. Weapons built not to defend but to destroy entire worlds. "The fleet is ready," he said. "We have 3,000 ships equipped with planet cracker weapons. Each one can turn a world into dust in minutes." "And the soldiers?" Yoon asked. "Ready for war," said General Park Heron. "No more peacekeepers who try to save everyone. These are warriors trained to kill and conquer. They know that alien lives don't matter anymore." Yuna activated the holographic display. It showed a map of the galaxy with human space marked in blue. Everything else was red, enemy territory that would soon belong to humanity. "The first test will be the Althan Collective," she said. They've been raiding our shipping lanes. How many ships have they taken? Asked the president. 3 cargo vessels. 67 human crew members killed or enslaved. And your response? Yuna's smile grew wider. Complete annihilation of their species. Major Shin Dongwook received his orders while his special forces team prepared their equipment. The mission was simple. Find every Althan world and kill everything that lived there. No prisoners? Asked Sergeant Ko Hyawan. None. No survivors. No witnesses. We want to send a message to the galaxy. His team had trained for this kind of mission. Not rescue operations or peacekeeping, but pure warfare. They carried weapons that could level cities and viruses that could kill entire ecosystems. What about civilians? Asked Corporal Lim Jae-hyun. What about them? Shin replied. Did they care about our civilians when they planned these raids? Did they worry about human children when they sold our people to slavers? The team loaded their equipment onto stealth ships. These were not the bright, clean vessels that had carried human aid workers. These ships were dark and sharp, built for one purpose: death. The Althan homeworld was a beautiful place. Green forests covered rolling hills. Blue oceans sparkled under a golden sun. Cities floated in the clouds, held up by technology that humans had taught them. It was a shame, Shin thought, that such a pretty world had to die. Target the population centers first, he told his team. Then the military bases. Then everything else. The attack began at dawn. Human ships appeared in the sky without warning. The Althan defense fleet tried to fight back, but their ships had been built for trade and exploration. The humans had built theirs for war. The space battle lasted 12 minutes. Every Althan ship was destroyed without damaging a single human vessel. Sir, they're trying to surrender, reported his communications officer. I don't hear anything, Shin said. Do you hear anything? No, sir. Nothing at all. The ground assault was worse. Human soldiers moved through Althan cities like death itself. They killed everyone they found, soldiers, civilians, children, it did not matter. The message had to be clear. In the great library of Althan Prime, Shin found the collective memory banks of their civilization. Thousands of years of art, science, and culture. He set fire to it all. Sir, shouldn't we save some of this? Asked one of his soldiers. It might be valuable. The only valuable thing here is the lesson their deaths will teach, Shin said. Let it burn. The operation took 72 hours. When it was over, the Althan collective no longer existed. Not their government, not their military, not their people. Nothing lived on any of their worlds except the bacteria in the soil. Fleet Admiral Oh Tae-hyun broadcast the results to every corner of the galaxy. The message was simple. The Althan collective attacked human shipping. This was their reward. Any species that harms humanity will share their fate. The reaction was immediate. Alien governments called emergency meetings. Trade with human space stopped completely as species tried to figure out what this meant for them. Sir, we're getting thousands of communications, reported his aide. Everyone wants to talk. Let them talk to each other, Oh said. We're done with conversation. But some species did not learn fast enough. The Nexari Confederacy, still fighting their war with the Zephyrians, tried to force human cargo ships to carry their weapons. They said it was payment for safe passage through their space. General Park Heron's response was swift and final. Her fleet surrounded every Nexari world simultaneously. There was no declaration of war, no demand for surrender. Just death falling from the sky. The tree people tried to hide in their vast forests, but human weapons found them anyway. Fires that burned for weeks consumed entire continents. The few survivors sent desperate messages begging for mercy. Please, they said. We were wrong. We'll give you anything. Just let us live. But humanity was done with mercy. The Nexari joined the Althan in extinction. News of the second genocide spread faster than the first. The remaining alien civilizations finally understood what was happening. The gentle giants were gone. In their place was something that the galaxy had never seen before: humans who had stopped being nice. Emperor Kim Min-hyuk, humanity's first Galactic Emperor, received delegations from 50 different species in his first week of rule. They all said the same thing: "We surrender. Please don't kill us." His throne room was built from the wreckage of alien warships. The floor was made from metals taken from dead worlds. On the walls hung the flags of extinct civilizations as a reminder of what happened to species that crossed humanity. "What do you offer?" he asked the Zephyrian delegation. "Everything," said their leader. Her scales were dull with fear. "Our worlds, our ships, our people, will be your slaves if you let us live." "Slavery is inefficient," Kim said. "You'll be subjects. You'll follow human law. You'll pay human taxes. You'll send your children to learn human values. And you'll be grateful for the privilege." "Yes, Emperor. Anything you want. And if you ever think of rebelling, remember the Althan. Remember the Nexari. Remember what happens to species that make humanity angry." The Zephyrian leader was crying now, actual tears running down her scaled face. "We understand. We'll be good. We promise." Kim dismissed her with a wave of his hand. Outside, her ship waited to carry the news back to her people. News that their independence was over. News that they were now part of the human empire. Director Lim Junseo managed the new imperial bureaucracy. His job was to make sure the subject species stayed in line. It was easier than he had expected. "Sir, the weekly reports," said his assistant. "Crime rates? Down 90% across all subject worlds. Rebellion activity? None reported. The last group was eliminated on Cathara Prime. Economic output, up 60%. Turns out aliens work much harder when they're afraid of being extinct." Lim nodded. Fear was an excellent motivator. Much better than kindness had ever been. The galaxy was quiet now. Not the peace of cooperation, but the peace of absolute dominance. Every alien knew their place in the new order. Every species understood that their survival depended on human mercy, and that mercy was no longer guaranteed. In his office overlooking the ruins of the old Galactic Council, Kim looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien children were learning human history in school. They were learning about the 150 years when humanity tried to be everyone's friend, and they were learning why that time was over. "Sir, another delegation is here," said his aide. "The Keth Miran want to discuss their mining quotas. Tell them the quotas are not negotiable. If they don't like it, they can join the Althan." The aide bowed and left. Kim returned to his paperwork. Running a galactic empire was surprisingly easy when everyone was too scared to argue with you. Outside his window, the galaxy burned with the light of 1 trillion stars, and every one of them now belonged to humanity, just as it should be. 5 years had passed since the Iron Doctrine changed everything. Emperor Kim Min-hyuk sat on his throne and looked at the galaxy he now owned. It was peaceful, it was profitable, and it was completely under human control. The throne room was full of alien representatives who had come to pay their respects. They brought gifts of gold and jewels and rare metals. They bowed low when they spoke. They called him Your Imperial Majesty and meant every word. "The Kethmiran delegation brings tribute from 17 mining worlds," announced Director Lim Junseo. 1 million tons of refined metals and rare elements. The blue-skinned aliens knelt before the throne. Their leader, once proud and demanding, now trembled as she spoke. "Your Majesty, we have exceeded our quotas by 12%. We hope this shows our loyalty to the human empire." "It shows that you don't want to die," Kim said. "That's good. Fear keeps you honest." In the 5 years since humanity stopped being nice, the galaxy had become a different place. Wars between alien species were impossible now. Humans would not allow them. Trade flowed smoothly because human administrators ran everything. Crime was almost zero because human justice was swift and final. General Park Heron walked through the streets of New Althan City. It had been built on the ruins of the original Althan capital, using slave labor from the surviving species. The architecture was human now. Clean lines, strong materials, built to last forever. Status report, she said to her aide. All sectors are quiet, General. No rebellions, no protests, no incidents of any kind. What about the education programs? Proceeding as planned. Alien children are learning human values in school. They're being taught that the old ways were wrong and that human rule brought peace to the galaxy. Park nodded. It was true in a way. There was peace now. The kind of peace that came from absolute power, backed by absolute willingness to use it. She stopped at a memorial built from black stone. It listed the names of every human who had died during the Age of Kindness. 2.3 million names. 2.3 million good people who had tried to help others and got death in return. They tried to save everyone, she said to her aide. We learned to save only ourselves. At the Galactic Administration Center, Director Lim Junseo reviewed the daily reports. The numbers were better than anyone had expected. Under human rule, the galaxy was more productive and stable than it had been in centuries. Sir, the weekly statistics, said his assistant, Captain Baksumin. Economic output? Up another 8%. The subject species are working at peak efficiency. Food production? Surplus on all agricultural worlds. No famines reported anywhere in the Empire. Technological advancement? Steady progress. Alien scientists are making good discoveries now that they're not wasting time on wars. Lim smiled. It turned out that forcing everyone to work together was much more effective than asking nicely. Fear motivated aliens better than friendship ever had. What about the resistance movements, he asked. The last one was eliminated 6 months ago on Zephyrian Prime. Since then, nothing. The aliens had learned their lesson well. After seeing what happened to species that rebelled, the smart ones decided that life under human rule was better than no life at all. But not everyone had accepted the new order. In a hidden base on the edge of the galaxy, representatives from 12 surviving alien species met in secret. They called themselves the Free Galaxy Alliance, and they had been planning their rebellion for 2 years. The humans cannot watch every world at once, said the Velthari leader. His bug-like face was scarred from the wars that followed humanity's withdrawal. If we coordinate attacks on multiple systems, they'll kill us all, interrupted the Kethmiran representative. Just like they killed the Althan, just like they killed the Nexari. Then we die as free beings, said the Zephyrian. Better than living as human pets. But even as they planned their hopeless rebellion, they knew the truth. Humanity was too strong now, too organized, too ruthless. The age of alien independence was over forever. Their meeting was interrupted by the sound of ships landing outside their base. Through the windows, they could see human soldiers surrounding the building. Somehow the Empire had found them. Major Shin Dongwook walked through the front door without knocking. His soldiers followed, their weapons ready. The aliens tried to reach for their guns, but it was too late. The Free Galaxy Alliance, Shin said with amusement. You picked a good name. Too bad freedom is illegal now. How did you find us? Asked the Velthari. One of your own people told us. The Kethmiran Council thought you were getting too dangerous. They sold you out to protect themselves. The blue-skinned alien leader looked shocked. Our allies betrayed us? Your allies are smart. They know which side keeps them alive. Shin's soldiers opened fire. There were no trials, no appeals, no mercy. The Free Galaxy Alliance died in their secret meeting room, and with them died the last hope of alien independence. Back on Earth, in a quiet cemetery overlooking the Pacific Ocean, an old woman placed flowers on a grave. The headstone read, Captain Li Wujin, died trying to help others. The woman was his daughter, now grown old herself. She remembered when her father used to talk about the aliens he was trying to save. How he believed that kindness could change the galaxy. How he died believing that good people should help those in need. I wonder what you'd think of us now, Dad, she whispered to the stone. But she already knew the answer. He would be horrified. The gentle man who had spent his life saving aliens would not recognize the empire his sacrifice had helped create. Yet, She could not bring herself to feel guilty. Her father had died because he was too good for the galaxy he lived in. His kindness had been repaid with betrayal and death. Maybe the new way was cruel, but it was also safe. Her grandchildren would never die in some alien war. They would never be betrayed by species they tried to help. They would inherit a galaxy that belonged to humanity, where human lives mattered, more than alien feelings. Emperor Kim received one final delegation that day. The last independent alien species, a group of energy beings who lived in the void between stars. They had no worlds to lose, no cities to burn. They had thought themselves safe from human conquest. "We offer our submission," said their leader. His voice was like the whisper of solar wind. "We have no choice left." "You had a choice 5 years ago," Kim said. "You could have spoken up when other species were attacking us. You could have offered help instead of hiding in your empty space. We are beings of pure energy. We do not interfere in physical matters. Then you should have stayed hidden. Coming here means you accept that this is now a human galaxy." The energy being flickered with what might have been despair. "What do you want from us? Your knowledge, your technology, your complete obedience. In return, you get to exist. And if we refuse?" Kim gestured to a device on his throne. It hummed with power that could disrupt energy patterns across light years. "Then you get to learn what happens to beings of pure energy when humans really want them dead." The alien submitted. Like all the others, it chose survival over dignity. That evening, Kim stood alone on the balcony of his palace. The city below stretched to the horizon, filled with the lights of human civilization. In the sky above, the running lights of the Imperial fleet formed new constellations. "Sir, the daily briefing," said his aide, approaching carefully. "How many worlds now?" Kim asked. 1,732 under direct Imperial control, another 458 as protectorates. No independent alien governments remain anywhere in the galaxy. Casualties today? None, sir. It's been 6 months since the last rebellion was crushed. Kim nodded. Perfect order, perfect peace, perfect control. Everything that humanity had failed to achieve through kindness, they had won through strength. A memory came to him. Words, spoken by Ambassador Song Yoonji during the withdrawal. Any alien ship that approaches human space without permission will be destroyed. They had kept that promise, and more. His communication device chimed. Another message from the archives, where historians were documenting the transition from the old galaxy to the new empire. They had found something interesting in the ruins of the Galactic Council. "What is it?" he asked. "A proposal, sir. From the early days of human involvement in galactic affairs. The aliens were planning to divide human space among themselves after they drained our resources completely." Kim was not surprised. Of course they had planned to betray humanity. It was in their nature. "File it with the other evidence," he said. "Make sure it goes in the history books. I want alien children to learn why their grandparents deserved what they got." As the night deepened, Kim looked up at the stars that now belonged to humanity. Somewhere out there, alien parents were tucking their children into bed with stories of the terrible humans who conquered the galaxy. Stories meant to frighten and warn. Good, he thought. Fear would keep them honest. In the distance, construction. Lights illuminated the memorial being built for humanity's age of kindness. It would be the largest monument in the galaxy, inscribed with the names of every human who had died trying to help others. At the base of the memorial, words were being carved in stone. They tried kindness. We learned better. The galaxy had discovered too late that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their military might. It was their capacity restraint.